ThaBoxingvoice.com.
What broke him down? Was it just the body punches? When I was hitting him with body punches, and I heard him, actually, he was crying in there. You were saying that Biggs was crying when you hit him? Yes. When did that happen? And perhaps the fourth round on.
ThaBoxingvoice.com.
So that you knew you had him by that time. Absolutely, but I knew he was tough and they're taking those punches.
ThaBoxingvoice Productions.
Making women gestures like, oh.
Let's go, champ.
Naz has backstabbed me. He has been snidey towards me. He has been underhanded towards me. And anyone who treats me like that, I don't have anything to do with, whether it's visual or from a hearing point of view. You can't do that. I was kind. I showed him kindness. I showed him friendship. I tried to steer him.
Let me just jump in here. Chris tried to nick Naz off me years ago, and Naz gave him the rods. That's the problem. Chris Eubank come to my gym. I paid him £300 a week. Johnny Nelson stood him on his head. Errol Graham stood him on his head, and he wouldn't fight him. Naz has got more talent in his little finger than he's ever had. He come up to our gym and he watched Naz jump the ropes. He watched Naz strut around the place. And he went out and made a fortune, not a problem. But the Boxers Association down London, he got Naz when he was up at the top of the tree, got him to one side and tried to steal him off me. And Naz come out and I tell you, Eubank was lucky I didn't finish upsetting about him. I might have been 54 at the time, but he'd have been in a bleeding fight with me, and you take that from me. He's a phony.
ThaBoxingvoice Productions.
This is a beautiful performance against a very tough guy in Michael Johnson. How do you feel about it?
Fuck that. Conor McGregor.
ThaBoxingvoice.com.
You know me, Larry. From a wicked entrance, from a flip over the rope into a knockout now. When the main thing is, I just hope the guy, I wish.
ThaBoxingvoice.com.
What is up, Patreon family? I mean, you know what time it is. I mean, it is standing 8 count. It is Friday. As always, well, not as always. I mean, there has been some Fridays I've skipped. I mean, we could just forget about that. I mean, we can just all agree that, yeah, hey, I mean, it happens. I mean, even Ness, even Mr. Gibbs himself misses some Thursdays and Sundays sometimes, but it's all right. It's okay. But we're back here, you know, and as I say, solo dolo.
Any of you radio personalities think you want smoke? Call me Mr. Chimney. I want smoke.
That goes to you, Rob, Doomy, Enrique, Nestor. Yeah. I'm putting out more content than all of you on TVV. No, I'm just kidding. But anyways, so much to get into. Because obviously, Danny Garcia versus Sean Porter, per spin news broke. I think it was last night or this morning. I forget the exact timing of it, but I was asleep when the news broke. I woke up to it. Obviously, Triple G Canelo, or I should say Canelo Triple G, now definitely being in jeopardy, and now being in a spot where I think most of us should be deeply concerned about what is next. What do we have here in front of us? Are we gonna get this fight, or are we potentially not getting this fight next, and we could potentially lose any significant or marquee fight in the sport in 2018? Which I think, you know, definitely is one of your questions and topics. I think it was Dempsey's question specifically. I think it was also a question last week, I want to say as well. And I think it's just obviously one of those things that we have to follow up on because of the news. But let me pull up your questions right here, as I did not have them up. My bad. But shout out to all of you who always write the questions and topics. Without you guys, this show wouldn't be the same because I like it being a question and answer sort of dynamic. To where if there's something that you feel like is not addressed on the show or not broken down right on the show, or a topic that just isn't even just blatantly discussed on the show that this would be your platform. Oh, sorry, hold on. This would be your platform for that to sort of be an out for you. But anyways, digressing. So much to get into. Shout out to Rick in the chat. Not chat, but in the comment section. Anthony, another Rick, 2 Ricks. OMG. I mean, battle the Ricks. Obviously, Robbie. Shout out to UK Rob. Dempsey, leaving comments and topics and questions. We're definitely going to get into all of them. But obviously, that first clip obviously was from Brandon Engel, who passed away again either this morning or yesterday while I was asleep. Just rest in peace. Unfortunately, I don't have the 10 count. I'll have Ness play that probably on the Sunday show. More of a flagship, I don't know, status, for that moment, or in a sense, definitely wrong wording for that. But anyways, and I Robbie sent me that clip, and I've seen that clip, tons of times, and it's always a classic. As a big Prince Nassim fan, growing up, I've always liked the Ingles and even Dominic Ingle. I think he's a fantastic trainer. Obviously, the trainer of Billy Joe Saunders. So that lineage of trainers is definitely there for sure. But just rest in peace to him and Dean Francis as well, who passed away. Just unfortunate losses in the sport of boxing. But digressing. Hold on very quickly. Rob saying Matt wasted. I'm not wasted. What are you talking about? Eric Cruz in the chat. What up, Eric Cruz? Eric's the right sort of guy in the chat. Rob, you know why? He is always nice. Always gives super chats. Because of Eric, you may come here, Rob, on September. Well, maybe not, obviously, because shout out to Triple G. Not happening. Digressing, of course. Rick saying, we're going to just get into it, saying, what do you guys think of fighters wearing masks and having rappers performing next to them during the ring walks? I don't care, at all. Especially now in this job where most of the time I'm working, during, the walks and everything like that. It's not a big deal, in terms of, the music choice, the rappers, yes, there's, AJ, walkouts I think are phenomenal, but that's a moment. That's sort of a characteristic of their career as well. Same with, Prince Nassim, who we just mentioned. His walkouts were always sort of known to be something, so then I care. Otherwise, I'm not looking for it. I'm not looking for you to do anything or you to be special, or I'm not really looking to be entertained during the walkouts. In terms of wearing mask, I've never been the biggest fan of it. I think there's some people who pulled it off across combat sports, both in MMA and in boxing. Deontay Wilder, I think, has done a good job with his. Obviously, I think, though, he could have changed it. He definitely could have a bronze Black Panther mask, but I've said that so many times. Marcus Brimage over in the UFC was known to have one. He had, was it Vegeta from Dragon Ball Z? He had that sort of get up. That's pretty dope. Somebody had a Predator mask in the UFC. We always liked that as an MMA fan, but I really have no issue with it at all, I would say. I never really, tend to care. I don't have the audio on half the time, unfortunately. Rob saying, hi, Matt, looking great. Oh, thank you. You're so sweet. Saying part of an event. Yeah, it's definitely part of an event, but I'm not looking for every walkout to be part of the event. You know what I mean? I'm not looking for every fight to be, quote-unquote, part of the event. You can sort of look at them in a microcosm, in my opinion, but digressing. Saying, also, what do you guys think of Earl Spence fighting Canelo Alvarez? Also, I like how you're saying you guys. It's just me, but I like it. Do you think Earl Spence has what it takes to put down Canelo? Put him down or beat him? Because those are two different things. Beat him, sure. I definitely can see Earl Spence beating Canelo. Putting him down, I don't know. Canelo is known to be incredibly tough and durable. I mean, Triple G couldn't hurt him, like, at all. There wasn't even like a Badu Jack, like, 10th round against Adonis Stevenson sort of moment with Canelo against Triple G. And Triple G, I think, historically has more power than Earl Spence, also at a higher weight class than Earl Spence. So if he couldn't do it, I don't see Earl Spence being able to put him down. But I don't know. Like, it's just I never really thought about it in terms of like putting him down. I definitely can see Earl Spence beating him though. Earl Spence is one of those guys that he can move up to 160 and not necessarily beat all those guys, but definitely be a champion in some capacity. There's 4 belts in a division. You know, he could definitely pick a belt up at middleweight. Earl Spence is that good. Definitely think that. And I think he could potentially fill out a little more. I don't know if that's the right way to frame it, but I see that I can see him not having to cut weight. Let's say he moved to 154 and be successful. But then again, I could also see him staying at 147 because he's not seeing him in person and being around guys like Keith Thurman, guys like Terrence Crawford, being around them. Earl Spence is like not significantly bigger than any of them. He may be marginally bigger in terms of mass, but I mean that's debatable. I would argue even like Terrence Crawford to me seemed taller. He seemed bigger in that sense than Earl Spence, and he started from 130. So I don't know. I really don't know what to make of Earl Spence in terms of what he's going to do in terms of weight movement. Plus his stablemate and good friend Jamel Charlo is at 154. Jamal's at 160. He's friends with Jamal. Like, I don't know. I could see them all three trying to lock down those 3 divisions simultaneously and reign together. I see that being their goal, to be honest. Rick again saying there was an interview done with Earl Spence on what he thought of the outcome between Tank Davis versus Lomachenko. Earl thinks Tank has what it takes to take out Loma. What do you guys think of that matchup? Do you guys see Tank beating Loma? Right now, no. Tank cannot beat Loma. I mean, but beside a flash knockout, not knockdown, flash knockout, I don't see Tank winning enough rounds or winning enough on the points to win decision. And I see that fight going to decision. Gervonta is too tough, and he's too good to, I think, be finished. But I think Loma's too quick, too active, too confusing in terms of, like, an opponent to beat. I just don't see it. But I do think that it goes to decision. That does break Lomachenko's, like, no mas, like, streak right now. But I did not see that interview, referring back to the Earl Spence interview. I did not see the interview. But, I mean, it's not I'm not surprised he's riding with his own. They're all, like, amateur friends. Like, all those guys were in the amateurs together as buddies. Some of them are, like, rivals, of course. Like, you get aspects of that from the amateurs, but most of them are friends. Like, at least from my experience and talking to them, a lot of these guys were in national tournaments together in different divisions. They were around each other a lot, and they've all had pretty good experiences with each other and sort of call each other friends. Even, like, guys as, like, big as, in terms of, like, size, like Deontay Wilder. You know, I've asked him about his, amateur experience in national tournaments and such with these guys, and he always said they were around, his contemporaries as such. So it's not surprising that they're all sort of, the PBC guys especially that were in the amateurs together, they're all friends. So I'm not surprised. It's almost like they're training partners. Like, that's the way I view it. So, yeah, digressing. Anthony Edwards, Queen City Cobra, shout out to you. List of 4 questions. I don't know if we're going to get to that 4th one, though, but I like reminds that. Rob's going to, hit me with a soundbite here if I answer that 4th one, but I might. Number 1, saying immediate reaction to Porter Garcia purse bid. Well, obviously, you wrote this a couple days ago, but now there is no purse bid. They've apparently agreed to an August 25th fight at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. We talked about this obviously on the show yesterday, and I mentioned that Al Haymon fighters usually when they're approached to a purse bid scenario, they negotiate it on the 11th hour, and that's what happened here. I'm not surprised at that at all. I'm very curious. I didn't read up on it. I'm very curious as to who is promoting this, because I can definitely see Mayweather promoting it, because Mayweather has ties to Danny Garcia in terms of promotional aspect. But it's at the Barclays Center in the tri-state area. It's at Lou DiBella. Just a minor point that I'm highly curious for no reason other than just being curious about it. But yes, that fight is happening next August 25th at the Barclays Center. I'm hyped. Rob, that's hilarious. In honor of you not being here, I'm just gonna.
Please do not use this platform to promote that shit.
Yes, that's question 4 coming up. But Danny Garcia, I think, has a chance to win this, and I think people are counting him out largely in terms of like the boxing community consensus. I'm not gonna say I picked Danny Garcia, but he's probably gonna be the underdog, deservedly. But he is 100% a live dog that could win this fight, and I mean it's 2 of the top 5 guys in the division fighting. It may not be the two. It may not be the 2 best guys in the division, but it's 2 out of the top 5 fighting each other. So I mean, just salute to them and just get hyped, because that's definitely, I think, something that's going to be interesting to see going forward, is those guys continually fighting each other, the potential trilogies we have here. Do you really not think Danny Garcia and Sean Porter are going to fight again? Like, they're going to fight 3 times. Like, let's be honest here. The money's there. Why not? Number 2, from Anthony Edwards, saying protein shakes for Border Wars. That's a statement and not really a question. So I think that's a topic. So it's like, do I use protein shakes for Border Wars? Yes. Like, what are brands I like? I don't know. Like, I'm not a big brand guy. Because I haven't been in Border Wars in like 6 months. So, I don't know, Anthony. That's like something you have to come on here, or at least be in the live fight chat. Or not live fight chat, live show chat. And not be in the, the TBV fam text message chat. Come on, Anthony. Come on. Way to be supportive. Yeah, I'm just gonna skip that one. Number 3, your least favorite current champion. There's a few that I'm over, I'm just done with, right? Like James DeGale, unfortunately. And I'm a huge James DeGale fan. And you can find articles way back in my writing days, on other sites, and I was a fan, but I'm like he shouldn't be champion at this point, and I don't see him as being championship talent at this point, unfortunately. So not that he's my least favorite, but he's just one I'm over, almost like the Miguel Cotto effect. Like, I was just done with Miguel Cotto. Like, I thought he looked like trash against Common Guy. Obviously got his ass beat by Saddam Ali. Like, I'm glad he retired. I was done. And I was done before even the Sergio Martinez fight. Let's be real. Rob saying Gary Russell Jr. I get it. I get the Gary Russell hate. Like, first off, talking yourself in the third person is always weird. It's always an odd thing. He fights once a year. But to me, he's still championship quality. And the whole third person thing has never aggravated me too much. I've laughed at it. To me, he's comical in a way more than my least favorite or somebody that I don't like. Billy Joe Saunders as a person is kind of a dick. Great boxer. I love watching him fight, but man, he's an asshole. So he's maybe on that list in some capacity. I'm not even sure I'm answering your question right, or know how to answer your question. But there's tons of guys I'm just I'm good. You're either a dick or I don't care, in effect. Rob saying Rob doesn't hate Gary Russell Jr. I'm not saying you hate him, but I'm saying that there is Gary Russell hate. Like, you know that. Like, you see online. You run our Twitter account. Like, when there's a Gary Russell fight, the Twitter mentions on TVV are kind of not so positive about the guy, to say the least. Now on to Rob's favorite question. Number 4 from Anthony. What's LA women like in the summer?
Please do not use this platform to promote that shit.
This is a very vague question, and I really want Rob in the YouTube chat right now to help me out here and decipher what he means by what's LA women like in the summer. What does that mean? Like, their personality? Like, what they wear? I am vastly confused here about this question and how to answer it. I was confused about your least favorite champion question, let alone this one, in terms of what you want, in terms of an answer, Anthony. So, Rob, definitely help me out in the chat and let me know what the hell Anthony wants in terms of an answer and what he means by this question. I'm going to try answer it. And Rob saying, it's from Ant. It's sexual. Yeah, true. Not LA season. Wow, summer season in LA is always a better time for dating, I would say. And I would say that's largely because the beaches are usually nice to go to. Everyone wants to go out and do things during the summer, so it's easy to get on dates. I don't know. Like, I think it's just like it's not like cuffing season like it is for like the winter, where like people want a relationship. They want somebody to take home to their parents for Christmas and shit. Like, it's not that sort of vibe. But I mean, it's summer. Like, summer's nice. Rob saying he means how hot they're looking. It's LA. Like, women are always looking hot in LA. Like, that's always going to be a thing in any sort of major metropolitan city. There's going to be very, very fine-looking women walking around all the time. You can't miss them, ever. And I'll put it this way. Anthony, since you're from Cincinnati, I guarantee you, any season of the year, LA women are looking and doing better than Cincinnati women. I guarantee it. Just as a whole. Like, it's a numbers game. It's purely that. Plus, you have Hollywood. You have Hollywood, the beach. Like, it's just different. It's just a different ball game over here. Rick 2.0. Hashtag the other Rick saying, well, commenting, I should say, to Anthony's question, saying, always with the best questions. The real answers East Coast guys thinking about vacations out west want to know. Well, I mean, I'll put it this way. Anthony, any time of the year, or Rick, or anyone out there on the East Coast, if you're wondering, like, what's the best season to, like, come to LA, go to the clubs, go to the bars, or whatever, and pick up women, it's obviously the summer. But I feel like that's largely the answer for, like, every major city. I like how Rob is just keeps changing, like, what the meaning is. The answer is yes. Like, yes, I feel like it's just like, it's an obvious answer. Like, it's the summertime in LA, in Hollywood. What do you expect? Like, let's not be stupid here. Rob in the chat saying, anyway, Tete, well, actually, we're going to get into, anyway, just fucking beating McDonald's ass in a minute and a half and treating him like a child. Tete Rodriguez Burnett is going to be amazing. Roblox Super Series. If it lands on his own, are you paying the $20? Other Rick saying yes with an exclamation point. Rob, that is offensive in the chat. I'm not even going to repeat it on the show. How dare you? But yes, that's absolutely the season it is. Anyway, I'm kind of upset that we didn't get a longer fight. I wanted to see how he was going to do with McDonald. But then again, we know that Inoue has this insane power, so this is nothing new. I don't know what to make of it. But referring closer to your question, the fact that all these guys are in the tournament, and if the World Boxing Super Series lands on DAZN, are you paying and he uses air quotes, $20? Yeah, probably. I might drop it depending on the month. Like, let's say it's a month where it's only like, well, let's say one Eddie Hearn card, and that one Eddie Hearn card is a card that I don't care about. I might drop it that month. But I mean, me and you in private, I've talked about this, Rob, where it's the potential for what DAZN would have in terms of quality and quantity if it got World Boxing Super Series and obviously the Eddie Hearn Matchroom USA deal, plus obviously the 16 shows in the UK in conjunction with Sky Sports. It's a potential for at least, in my opinion, 50 fight cards a year. And weirdly enough, I feel like that's being conservative. Especially with them doing 3 divisions now for the World Boxing Super Series, and they get all of those matchups, all of those events. It's definitely gonna be over 50 fight cards a year, and I mean, I don't know how they're gonna do that scheduling wise. I think that's gonna be sort of a concern that we might get the same situation we had with ESPN and others, where ESPN wanted to pick up certain events and World Boxing Super Series wanted to sell it off as a package deal. Hopefully, if this happens, DAZN picks them all up and shows them all and airs them all, and we get them all, and they somehow figure it out in terms of scheduling. And maybe they're double scheduled sometimes, and that's the beauty of streaming. You can have multiple streams on your sort of feed. So I think at that point it'd be worth the money. It's 50 fight cards a year, and the World Boxing Super Series alone is quality. Like, that alone adds the quality you want. That even though if Eddie's 32 fight cards a year don't really bring to the table in terms of overall quality, WBSS brings it in spades, vast spades. So yeah, $20 a month. Yeah, I might drop it month to month, but that's the same with any subscription. Like, there's months where I drop HBO sometimes. You know, if Westworld, Game of Thrones, and there's no boxing on that month, fuck, I'm saving that $10. Definitely, absolutely. Other Rick saying, what's your take on Oscar's comments about Triple G being afraid to fight Canelo? Was it unfair? Split demand? Bad blood? Because nobody really thinks Gennady is scared of Canelo. Agreed. Where does each fighter go next if the fight really is off? And Rob and Dempsey piggybacking off of that. So let me read their comments as well. Rob saying, Hearn quote as saying he has been contacted for Canelo Jacobs next. Thoughts? Does that open up for Triple G Charlo or more likely Billy Joe Saunders? Ryan Dempsey saying, just saw that Steve Kim tweeted that Oscar De La Hoya is going to move forward from Canelo Triple G rematch. Seems like the rematch might not be happening. If that is true, that is one big fight we are not going to see happen this year. Thoughts? Yeah, unfortunately, we just did the show yesterday where before this was announced, both guys were signed to Nevada. Tom Loeffler's in the media saying, yeah, we have the skeletons for the rematch in place. Like, it should be easy. Like, everybody was on page, and then we have now Oscar going off page, going off script. And, first off, that's to you, Oscar, because you definitely deserve that shit. If this fight doesn't happen next, a lot of things. I think it's a huge fallout for the division. I don't know who Canelo fights next. I know Canelo obviously has been currently saying he's been contacted for Canelo, for Jacobs. I don't see that. That makes zero sense to me. You don't do 1.3 million pay-per-view buys with Daniel Jacobs. You might do decently well. You probably do 600,000 maybe, is 700,000 pay-per-view buys maybe. But not a million. Not 1.3 to 2. Which he did with Triple G. Triple G is more of a commodity. Let's just be pragmatic here. I just don't see that happening. Especially for the risk. That's really what it is that 700,000 pay-per-view buys, let's say that's my estimate, right? Just throwing it out there. And just for hypothetical purposes, let's use that number. That Daniel Jacobs fight represents, let's say, half of the revenue that a Triple G fight represents. I think that's reasonable. I mean, who else is out there that presents that sort of money but less of a risk? Like Charlo represents a huge risk for Canelo. So does Billy Joe Saunders. So does everyone. Maybe Billy Joe's more money, maybe, but I don't think that. I really don't think that. I don't know. This is odd to me in every conceivable way as to why Canelo would not want this fight, or either party. To me, it's it's the common sense matchup between the two that should be fighting each other. Rob saying, Oscar saying Triple G demanding too much. Do you not feel Canelo had to suffer a little less after the joke hearing and suspension? Feel Canelo has to suffer less. Canelo Jacobs numbers, rough guess. I think I just gave him 700,000. Right? Wasn't that 700,000 pay-per-view buys. Triple G was asking too much the first time. I don't understand this right here. I fundamentally do not understand this route that they are taking. The Jacobs route specifically. That makes no sense to me. It's very different if Eddie Hearn's saying that, hey, we have Jacobs for you, than it is I've been contacted by Golden Boy because of this. It's weird. It's vastly confusing. And like Rick said, no one believes Triple G is scared of Canelo. Come on, let's stop that. And to Dempsey's, I think, more overall, bigger picture point about losing this fight for the year. And I'm going to add to it, if we do not get Joshua Wilder this year, boxing in 2018 is desperate for something. Desperate for some sort of big moment. Just the way it is. The sport yearns for that spectacle, those 2 or 1 moment a year where everyone and their mother cares about a fight. And we only have two of them right now, conceivably. Canelo Triple G, Joshua Wilder. And they both should happen this year. Just from a pure momentum aspect or angle or a where all these 4 men, where their paths have led, it has led to this year them fighting now. And if it doesn't, it's unfortunate. And if it doesn't, it's another one of those moments in the sport of boxing where we look at, damn, the fight's not happening. And Canelo Triple G has already been that. Canelo Triple G is already years too late. The first one was. So I am very upset at the potential for neither of these fights happening next. So it's unfortunate. It is what it is. This could just be strong arm negotiation. It is. How many times have we, thrown on the signals and said, hey, Joshua Wilder, negotiation. This is make or break it moment. We're either going to have it or not. Oh, it's not happening. And then a week later, there's still negotiations, and it still seems like it could be happening. This could be the same thing. It could just be that. A moment in the negotiation process that they did to Strong Arm Triple G. And that is how it works in boxing. But, digressing. Thank you, all those that commented. The two Ricks, Rob, Dempsey, Anthony. Thank you. Appreciate it. Rob in the chat, Eric Cruz in the chat. Appreciate you guys as well for sticking around live with me. What else? What else do I want to say?
Any of you radio personalities think you want smoke? Call me Mr. Chimney. I want smoke.
Call me Mr. Chimney. You can find me at Matt Hunter TBV on all platforms. Mixed Combat Radio is coming back, I think, the 26th, which is tomorrow. I don't know if that's going to happen. There's a birthday party I have to go to tomorrow, so that could get in the way. But there's a ESPN fight, I think, tomorrow. The Filipino fighter, oh my God, it's based on the name. And it's honestly hard to pronounce. It's not my fault. Like, it's a hard name to pronounce. Ancajas? Yeah, Ancajas. He's fighting Khalid Yaffe. Is fighting, I believe his opponent came in overweight, though. So definitely going to see what to do with that. Whether we're going to do a live fight chat for that. Probably not, though. Just letting you know. If we do one, it's probably just me. And I don't want to do that. But anyways, digressing. Thank you all for coming. I mean, it's you. It's the Patreon family. Like, this is episode God knows how many. I'm here to answer your questions and topics every Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern, live. Y'all have a good weekend. Peace.